Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Caitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Takta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So I'm planning to just speak for a good long time. Sorry about that. And then from time to time I may stop and take some questions or comments, but generally I'm going to try to push forward because there's a lot of material to cover. And I want to just give you an overview. And then hopefully we can have other opportunities in the future for further discussion on this topic. So before I begin, seeking all of your blessings that I can purely speak on this topic and be a transparent via medium. Thank you very much. And what time is the next darshan? 9. Next darshan is at 9 p.m. Jai Ho, Jai Ho. Okay, so we have our ISKCON Kirtan Ministry. This is our website, ISKCON Kirtan Ministry. And there's Kirtan standards. There's one aspect here. And there are Kirtan standards, GBC resolutions. So that's where this is coming from now. So let's start. This is started in March 2007. So now it's 2024. So who can do the math? 24 minus 7 is? 17? 17? So 17 years ago, the GBC started to legislate Kirtan standards. And this is an action order. GBC said, we want this to happen. So what did they want to happen? They created a Kirtan Standards Committee. Okay? So there's a whereas, why it was done, but ultimately resolved. Someone can, we have a second mic, dusra mic, ke paas hai? Yes. So I'll read, another mic is coming. I would like a volunteer to read the resolution. Do I have a volunteer, please? Yes, this Prabhu right here. Krishna. Okay. Can you resolve that a committee, please proceed.
That a committee called the Kirtana Standards Committee, KSC, be formed, consisting of Janardana Das, Hari Sauri Das, Bhaktivedanta Swami, Lokanatha Swami, Jagajivan Das, with consultation from Shivarama Swami and Jayadvaita Swami. They shall formulate clear standards and guidelines for Kirtan within ISKCON based on the statements of Srila Prabhupada. Janananda Das will be the coordinator of this committee. The KSC will present their findings at the GBC AGM in Mayapur 2008 for approval by the GBC body.
Okay, so in short, Janananda Maharaj, now subsequently he took sannyas. He was the chairman of this committee. And a couple of years ago, the committee was dissolved and we formed the ISKCON Kirtan ministry. And the ISKCON Kirtan ministry has taken over this mandate. So Janananda Maharaj, he handed all of his notes to me. So now, Haribol. So I'm the successor to take care of this seva, to try to incorporate Kirtan standards. So Kripaya aap sab Ashirwad dijiye, aap sab bahut jor se boliye, Hare Krishna. I'm feeling empowered. I'm feeling empowered. Thank you, thank you. Okay, then what happened next? They didn't get it together by 2008. Things always take a little longer than we expect. But in March 2011, there was a presentation, Kirtan Standards, Instruments Guidelines. What instruments you can play? Okay, so there was a paper prepared, musical instruments to be used. That's also a long paper. But what's interesting to note, in our analysis of Srila Prabhupada's various instructions, can I have a volunteer to read, please? Mike?
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead. In our analysis.
In our analysis...
George, say. Use the mic.
In our analysis of Srila Prabhupada's various instructions concerning instrument use during Kirtan, we have ascertained that his instructions fell into three categories. Instrument are used during Kirtans in the temple for daily worship at deity Aartis, Tulsi Puja and Guru Puja. Instrument use during Kirtans in the temple at times other than regular daily Aartis. Instrument use outside the temple for Harinam and public presentations.
Okay, so interesting to note here, there are three categories that instruments are maybe okay in one category, but not in another category. So the category is the time, the place, and the circumstance. Under which situation are the Kirtan standards and guidelines the most strict? This is a question for all of you. Under what situation, where and when? Where is the most strict place, and what is the most strict time? We'll start with this. Where is the most strict place? We're talking about temples, we're talking about Harinam. Which is more strict, the temple or the Harinam? The temple. Temple is the most strict place. And what time in the temple is the most strict time? During the Artik. So Artik, temple kirtans, we have the highest standard. And when I will make my presentation showing what I'm putting forth in the GBC time, I'm exclusively dealing with the temple. Because this needs to be established first. This is the most strict time. We're worshiping the deities with the kirtan. And I have a good friend named Ram Roy Prabhu in New York City who's daily been doing Harinam Sankirtan in New York every day, 365 days a year for the past 12 years. So it's a struggle to have the Harinam go out every day for 12 years. So I asked him what his standard is. What is the standard for Harinam Sankirtan outdoors in New York? He said, just don't draw blood from anybody. And you can do whatever you want. And don't cause too much anguish to anybody. So the standards are very loose there because they're just trying to get the Harinam out. But in the temple, and especially during the Artik, we want to maintain a high standard of worship. And also interesting to note, this point number 2, instrument use during kirtans in the temple at times other than the regular daily Artiks. So we can also be more loose like after the artik. Maybe someone is doing kirtan in the afternoon in the temple or in the evening time, like this time after the artik. So maybe we can relax the standards a little bit. Maybe some other instruments can come like this. Because that is can be an outreach program. That's like a preaching program. So therefore, to expand the mission, we relax the standards a little bit to facilitate the expansion. And the third case, instrument use outside the temple for Harinam and public presentations, like Ram Roy Prabhu, we make it even more relaxed. It's outreach. Okay. So then there are so many different quotes, and by the way, His Holiness Jai Advaita Swami Maharaj has recently launched a book, Srila Prabhupada Kirtan Standards. It's also a wonderful book. I recommend it. Already, devotees here in ISKCON Melbourne, they've ordered some copies. So soon this book should be available here in this community. And they contain many quotes from Srila Prabhupada. For example, this letter in 1975. And I think I'm getting into too many details because we have to cover a lot of ground. But I want to read this excerpt from Srila Prabhupada. Would you like to hear it? Yeah. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, so letter to where is it? Yeah. Okay, letter exchange, 1975. Rupanuga Das, who can read? Volunteer to read, please. Yes, give him the mic. Go ahead. Rupanuga Das.
Rupanga Das wrote on 30th January, the question of proper instruments for temple kirtans, particularly artikas, has been raised. It is that the proper instruments for temple artikas and kirtans are only the kartals and mridanga. Or can harmonium, tambora and tambourine also be used?
You know what is a tambourine? That's the tambourine, the round one. Golwala, right? You know it as a tambora, right? Sa pa pa sa pa pa sa, right? You know it as a harmonium, right? Yes. Okay, good. Thank you. All right, please continue reading.
Srila Prabhupada replied on 2nd February, regarding instruments for temple kirtans, kartals and mridanga are sufficient. There is no need of other instruments.
Okay, so for our temple artiks, here Srila Prabhupada is saying kartals and mridangas are enough. This is the highest standard. Although in what I'm proposing, because Prabhupada has said also some different things in different places, that I'm suggesting that mridanga and kartal is recommended. And perhaps one can also add wampers and gong. Kibo jayo jayo gora. This ganta bhaje, in this bhajan, ganta bhaje is there. So ganta can also be used, gong and wampers, but not too loud. Okay, don't play the wampers too loud, okay? We have a decibel meter here on the wall showing 82, 78, it's fluctuating. So like this, also be conscious. Okay, I have to move much faster because we have a lot of ground to cover. So there's a lot of information here, and this is all available on our website. So please go through it and write to me if you have any thoughts. This is interesting. Additional instruments should not become the dominant sound in the bhajan kirtan, but support it. So the other instruments should not overpower the chanting. The chanting is the most important thing. Which chanting? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so that's regarding instruments. There's more to be discussed, but that is what I want to cover for now. Now another question that comes up is, can we chant the holy names of Srimati Radharani in the Kirtan? Because we see Srila Prabhupada never did that. So how do we approach this? And I'll give you some history. This is exciting. One time, and also Aniruddha Prabhu is here. Welcome, Aniruddha Prabhu. And Aniruddha Prabhu was one of the members of the Kirtan Standards Committee. So he's also spent a lot of time studying this. So there was a Rath Yatra in Birmingham. And there were several Kirtan parties. And one ISKCON Kirtan party, they were playing loud drums and they were chanting, Radhe, 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 Radhe. And it went on for 20 minutes. It was just going and going and going. And a couple of very senior devotees, sannyasis, Prabhupada disciples, they got disturbed. Prabhupada never did kirtan like this. So one of them went in to try to stop the kirtan. But then the other devotees in the Radhe Radhe Kirtan party, they made a circle and they blocked that senior devotee from getting in. And it was like a Radhe Radhe battle was going on. It was like Radhe Radhe Kurukshetra. So then after the festival, devotees were wondering what to do. So they, especially Hari Shori Prabhu, Prabhupada's personal assistant, was very emphatic about this. This is not good. So that's how the Kirtan Standards Committee was formed, to deal specifically with this particular issue. So this is what the GBC came up with, the Kirtan Standards Committee came up with, and the GBC approved as a guideline. And so resolved, the following should be avoided in all temple and public programs as well as in recorded media. Chanting of the holy name of Srimati Radharani without the holy name of Sri Krishna. For example, Radhe, 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 Radhe. So that should not happen, okay? And they also said, can I have someone to read? My voice is so boring. Number 2. Yes, please go ahead, take the mic.
Chanting the holy name of Srimati, the next one. Chanting the holy name of Srimati Radharani with mantras within mantras that are not introduced by Srila Prabhupada. Previous Gaudiya Vaishnavas Acharyas or in Shastra, including but not limited to Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe.
Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Sri Radhe. Okay, next one. B.
Radhe, 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 Radhe.
Okay, got that one right. Okay.
Jai
C.
Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Shri Radhe.
Okay, good. Number D. Radhe, Radhe, Go. Oh, this is Radhe, 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 Govinda. Radhe, 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 Govinda. Okay, E.
Radharani ki Jai, Maharani ki Jai.
You know that one?
Yeah.
Can you sing it? If I instigate you to sing it while I get banned in ISKCON? Radharani ki Jai, Maharani ki Jai. Okay. F.
Radhe Sham, 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 Radhe, Radhe.
Okay, good. So all these A through F, the GBC has asked us to refrain from these. Why? Because these mantras were not introduced by Srila Prabhupada. They came later. They were not introduced by previous Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas or in any scripture. So they become popular in ISKCON and in other groups, but they're not authorized mantras. They're who knows where they came from. Maybe from ChatGPT. We don't know. We don't know who came up with these. Okay? If ChatGPT comes up with a mantra, a new mantra, is it authorized? I think only if you're in the ChatGPT parampara. Okay, coming to the next point. What about on Radhastami? Can't we chant Srimati Radharani's name on Radhastami? I need a volunteer to read, please. Yeah? Yes, Prabhu, please go ahead.
Shri Radhashtami, devotees may chant Srimati Radharani's holy name in isolation of Sri Krishna's name to a limited degree, not more than 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay, very good. So there is license, there is an exception on Radhastami, but we have a indication not more than 2 or 3 minutes. So it's limited. Okay? Yeah. This is the GBC's directive. Okay. Then, so then, especially when we chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, who is referred to by the word Hare? Śrīmati Radharani. So we're chanting Śrīmati Radharani's names all the time when we chant Hare Krishna. So we should be happy and content with that. That's what Srila Prabhupada has so mercifully given us. And then also there's the Radhika Stava from Stalamala. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate. So that's an authorized song. We can sing that. Okay, then next. So that's concluding our discussion on chanting the holy names of Śrīmati Radharani. Okay, next topic, March 2014, Gender Kirtan Guideline. I drafted this one. Okay? Whereas a new practice has emerged in ISKCON Kirtan consisting of Kirtan leader chants, ladies only respond. Kirtan leader chants, men only respond. Kirtan leader chants, full congregation response. Have you ever been in a kirtan like this? The kirtan leader is singing, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Only Matajis sing. Have you heard that? You're fortunate. Who here has heard that? Yes? See, so many. Okay? Because we stopped it in 2014. That's why you've been spared from this. Okay. So whereas there's no description of Srila Prabhupada ever leading kirtan like this, nor of any devotee leading kirtan like this in Srila Prabhupada's presence, whereas this new practice emphasizes the bodily concept of life and our false designations as men and women. Whereas, when such questionable chanting occurs, some devotees are uncomfortable, alienated, disturbed, or may even refuse to participate in such a kirtan, and thus the unity of our movement, even in its most core activity, Sankirtan, is jeopardized. Therefore, resolved, kirtan leaders in all temple and public programs should refrain from separating the congregation into responding sections based on bodily considerations like male, female, young, old. How would you like we said, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Only the old people sing. You know? It's not be appreciated, right? So the same way, we should not say, okay, only the Matajis and then only Prabhus, like this. So we chant Kirtan, we chant together. Sabhi lok ke saath, right? Haribol. And let's see, anything else we should cover here quickly? Let's take 1 or 2 questions, comments before we proceed. I'm opening the floor. Anyone have any questions or comments so far? Yes. Please handle the microphone.
So if someone said only the old people sing and I became offended, should I take the action that you described in the original Radhe Radhe dispute? Mm-hmm. What, if any action, what action should we take?
Oh, this is a very nice question. So what to do about this, right? How to actually be positive and create a good change and help ISKCON move forward towards pure kirtan in our traditional style. So it depends on our relationship with that person who's leading the kirtan, and we should keep in mind maintaining Vaishnava etiquette and keeping a sweet mood in the temple room. It's also considered an offense against the deities to chastise anyone in front of the deity, Nectar of Devotion says. So if someone transgresses one of these principles, then we should see what's our relationship with them and how it can be done. For example, with the chanting of the names of Srimati Radharani or any correction, a general principle is, if someone is senior to us, we don't correct them. We go to a devotee that's on that same level with that devotee, or even senior to that devotee, and we share our concerns with that particular devotee. And then it is appropriate for that devotee to communicate. If a devotee is junior to us, and we have the relationship with them where they will be willing to take guidance from us, then we can try to guide them in a very gentle and sweet and encouraging manner. That may be best done after the kirtan is finished, so that maybe personally, because we should always praise people publicly and correct people privately. This will help people take on the good instruction. And I can also share with you that we're preparing a tool to help you and all the devotees to implement this, is that we're working on a resolution right now. This is it here, Temple Kirtan Guidelines. And all of these guidelines, we're planning, it's about 4 pages of guidelines. We're planning to make it into an infographic and have them posted in or near ISKCON temple rooms. So you can refer to it. You can say, did you see point number 5 on the infographic? And then, what do you think about that? So this is our proposal for implementation of these concepts. What do you think? Will that be satisfactory, or it's our endeavor to serve?
I can't pick any holes in it.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Are there any other comments or questions at this point? Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. I'm just going to take this one more and then we're going to move, because there's a lot to cover.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes.
This tandem chanting of male and female on the streets,
Yeah.
we chant to please Krishna, as well as when we go out, doesn't it add to the appeal for the general public to take up this? So,
Will it add to the general appeal?
orchestra also we see this.
Yeah, if it does, and I can't guarantee that it does, it may create a discomfort in some of the devotees participating. Because I was speaking with one senior devotee, and she was saying that she also didn't like it when people said, okay, now Mataji's chant, because this is a new party. It's a false designation. We're not male, we're not female. Jivera Swarupa Hoy, Krishnara Nityadas. We're all eternal servants of Krishna. And this female-bodied devotee was sharing with me that she felt very frustrated when kirtan leaders would use this technique to try to gather attention, to separate the male-bodied devotees and the female devotees. And she was saying, I come to the kirtan to forget that I'm a female. You know? I want to remember that I'm a soul. So why are you reminding me of my false bodily conception? So it may have some value in public outreach, but I feel the risk of alienating devotees in our most core practice of chanting Hare Krishna Sankirtan, personally, I don't think it's worth it. We do kirtan in order to please Krishna. And Krishna is pleased, everyone is attracted. Not just to cater to the whims of the public, who would happily go see some movie with some, ladies not wearing many clothes. We don't want to try to attract people like that with the bodily conception of life. Does that address your question, issue? What do you think?
Yes, yes. Now, what I thought was it's more of a politically being correct.
Political?
Yeah. Because nowadays...
What kind of politics are you referring to? The
Everywhere,
politics of kirtan.
No, everywhere we see the gender, equality and...
So let's do gender equality. Don't divide the men and the women. We're all together spirit souls. Okay? Yeah?
Okay.
Otherwise we have to say men chant, women chant, third gender chant. Okay? If you want to be political correct. Okay? Does that answer your question?
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Okay, let's move on. There was one other very important point from the Kirtan Standards Resolutions passed by the GBC. And can I have some volunteer to read, please? A hand? Someone who hasn't read yet? This is the active reading team. I want some fresh blood. Okay. Someone who hasn't read? Anybody? Yes. Prabhu in the back, hand on the microphone, please. Third gender chant. Frogs chant. Okay. You have the mic? Yeah, please proceed. I want you to read this. The Hare Krishna Mahamantra should be.
The Hare Krishna Mahamantra should be the primary mantra in all ISKCON Kirtans.
So this is a very foundational principle that ISKCON Kirtans mean Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So, and this the GBC passed as an ISKCON law. So this is really heavy. If you don't do this, you know who will come and get you? The Kirtan police. Actually, we don't have Kirtan police. We can't afford it. We don't have the budget for Kirtan police. But the GBC felt so strongly about this that they made it a law, okay? So, come down to the resolved. Please read resolved.
That resolved that in all ISKCON Kirtans, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra should be the primary mantra.
Haribol. Note.
This is for Kirtans but does not apply to bhajans such as Jai Radha Madhav, Nrsimha prayers, etc.
It makes sense, huh? It's obvious. So when we do kirtan, we should keep this principle in mind. Whatever mantras we chant, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra should be primary. So this is a very key principle. Okay. I have water somewhere? Now I want to come to the Temple Kirtan Guidelines proposal that is currently in front of the GBC body. The GBC body is looking at this right now. I made a presentation on this to the GBC body in Pune during Kartik, and we discussed for almost 1 hour, like we're sitting here today with the whole GBC body. Now these guidelines have not yet been passed, although it's looking like they will pass them. All the feedback has been good, and they've made some suggestions, and I've incorporated their changes and suggestions. At the same time, if any of you would like to offer any suggestions of how this can be improved, now is a good time, or write to me, because the GBC hasn't passed this yet. And even after they pass it, still we can make amendments and we can make modifications and adjust it. So I welcome your feedback on this document, okay? Your feedback is valuable to us. Okay, name of the proposal, Temple Kirtan Guidelines from the ISKCON Kirtan Ministry. We first submitted November 10th, 2022, and we're just finalizing it now with the mercy of Krishna. So, Temple Kirtan guidelines. Whereas there is a need in ISKCON for clarity in temple room Kirtan guidelines. Resolved, the GBC body approves the Temple Kirtan guidelines. However, it shall be a living document that may be amended as required by the ISKCON Kirtan ministry, provided such amendments are first circulated on the GBC email conference and no objections are received within 30 days. So there's provision to continuously upgrade and modify the document. Okay, the preamble. Devotees are encouraged. Can I have a reader, please? Yes, go ahead. Please take the microphone.
Devotees are encouraged to chant wholeheartedly in all temple kirtans. Managers should do their best to implement these guidelines for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada and the Vaishnavas. Participants are encouraged to follow these guidelines under the guidance of the local ISKCON management team in a mood of loving cooperation.
Thank you. Can you read number 1?
Golden guideline. The most important sound in the kirtan is the congregational chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which the instrument should never overpower. Musicians should exercise the proper sensitivity to the kirtan leader to ensure that the chanting is the most prominent sound. This will be pleasing to Srila Prabhupada and foster in an attractive, welcoming and inclusive atmosphere.
Thank you. Can I have someone else read number 2, Kirtan leaders? Okay. See hands? Okay, go ahead.
Preferably ISKCON initiated devotees in good standing, chanting at least 16 daily rounds and following the 4 regulative principles, or if not initiated, at least following the 4 regulative principles, accepting Srila Prabhupada teachings and regularly chanting japa.
Okay, someone else? B.
Appearance. Preferably a clean and simple dress, face shaven with a Gaudiya Vaishnava tilak. For men, a dhoti, kurta and chadar are encouraged. For women, saris or gopi dresses and shawls are encouraged. Shorts and other revealing clothes are discouraged.
Yeah, very good. I'm just going to try to zoom this a little more so it'll be easier to see. Is that better?
Yes.
Yes, okay. All right. So we have 2 discussions, Golden Guideline and Kirtan leaders. Any questions, comments so far? Good. Number 3, mantras. Can I have someone reading, please? Yes, this devotee over here.
During temple Aarti Kirtans, first chant Srila Prabhupada's Pranam mantras, either before or after Aarti, Panchatattva mantra, and then the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which should be the primary mantra in every Kirtan.
Go on.
Chant the Nrsimha prayers after each Aarti. C. Following many may occasionally be sung, but 1. Bhajans, mantras from BBT songbooks and songs from Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas. 2. Govinda Jai Jai, Gopal Jai Jai. 3. Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha, Gopala Govinda Ram, Sri Madhusudan. 4. Jai Sachinandan. 5. Nitai Gauranga. 6. Jai Prabhupada.
D. Go ahead.
No words or syllables should be added or subtracted to the mantras or songs.
E.
The chanting should be done first by the leaders and then by the congregation. While the leader is chanting, interjections by the congregation of Chaitanya, Nityananda, Hare Hare, etc. are not encouraged.
Okay, I want to discuss this because we do this a lot in this congregation. And the first time, the main emphasis is that this was not done in Srila Prabhupada's physical presence. And Srila Prabhupada taught us that the kirtan leaders should sing and then the congregation should respond. And now we're seeing a new kirtan style come up, and we wonder, is it an innovation to improve the kirtan, or is it a deviation that causes disturbance in kirtan? Or is it a combination of both? Some people may like it, they may find it more inspiring, and some people get highly disturbed by it. I remember this first started happening in around 1994 in Vrindavan. The teachers had taught the Gurukul boys to do this. Do you remember that? Sri Krishna Caitanya, Caitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Nityananda. They were doing like that. And the people were thinking it's so cute, you know? And this was during the Mangal Artik. But then one day they did it, and Prithu Prabhu, one very senior Srila Prabhupada disciple, he started shouting in the middle of the Mangal Artik, "Stop! Don't do this! Srila Prabhupada never did this. Why are you adding something new?" Because Srila Prabhupada told us the fault of the Western disciples. They always want to add something new. They always want to change things. And then I know His Grace Devaki Nandan Prabhu from Bombay. Are you familiar with him? From Juhu? He always gets really upset when this happens. I have one video here. I think Rukmini Krishna Prabhu just sent it to me. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. Did you see it? Do you want to see it again?
Krishna, Hare Hare.
Jai Jagannath. One more time.
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare.
Should I circulate this on your group? So, Devaki Nandan Prabhu is a very senior devotee, and he likes things to be done the way Srila Prabhupada established things without change. And we see that once we make a small change, like we add a Chaitanya or Nityananda, then more change happens. Now we've got Hare Hare. Right? So, in the interests of serving the senior Vaishnavas and not offending them, to not create a disturbance for them, my personal feeling is that we should maintain Srila Prabhupada's standard and not create these new styles in the kirtan. These senior devotees, they've been in the kirtan for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. They're accustomed to doing kirtan in a certain way, and then when someone introduces something new, it creates a disturbance with them. I've been doing this for 40 years, the way Prabhupada did it, and now there's a change. Why? So in the interest of trying to avoid offending the Vaishnavas, my humble appeal is we should keep the kirtan style in a very similar way that Srila Prabhupada introduced to us, without introducing something new. So in the morning when I sing Mangalartik and someone chants Hare Hare or Chaitanya or Nitanya, and it becomes like a congregation, right? A whole group of devotees do it. Then generally I'll just look back at them and go like this. Or even better, I found a solution for me that works, is I sing Chaitanya very long, so there's no room. And I sing Nityananda very long, so there's no room for any weeds to pop up, like that. Like, Jai Sri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gora Bhaktivedanta. So like this, same mantra is there. I can sing it sweetly, nicely. I just sing it long. Sometimes I take a breath before Nityananda. And if it's long, then people don't have time for Hare, Hare. So sometimes Kirtan leaders do it on purpose, like to create that. Jaya Sri Krishna Caitanya. Right? You leave the space and then people come and do it. So the idea is don't leave the space. Don't leave the space, and this is a very passive and sweet way to try to minimize the addition of this new phenomenon. Okay? Kirtan phenomenon. All right. Do you want to see it one more time?
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Devaki Nandan Prabhu doesn't look happy, huh? So we want our devotees to be happy. And so of course the Hare Hare is also not encouraged. All right, good. That was exciting. Okay, F. Chanting the deities' names towards the end of the Arti Kirtan is optional, as they may be glorified during the Prema Dwani prayers. So very often we hear devotees at the end of the Kirtan, Jaya Gora Nitai, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Radha Vallabha Radha Vallabha Radhe. Right? We hear it a lot. It's optional. Doesn't have to be done. Srila Prabhupada never did it. If you listen to any of Srila Prabhupada's kirtans, he never did that. He would always chant Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And kirtan would be over. Jayom Vishnubhad Paramahamsa Parivar. Like that. So, in Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj's book, he encourages devotees that with this extra time, you can chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which is the Yuga Dharma. And also in my experience, when people get into chanting deities' names, they start concocting new mantras. Jaya Radhe Sham, Jaya Krishna Balaram. They make up all kinds of stuff, which also is a risky to introduce new things. So if we just chant Hare Krishna, we're safe. Now again, it's optional. It's so ingrained in ISKCON culture that at the end of kirtans, people will chant the deities' names. I feel as the ISKCON Kirtan ministry, we would not stand a chance of a snowball in hell of telling people not to chant deities' names at the end of the kirtan. So go ahead, if you wish, you chant them, but also be aware, Srila Prabhupada never chanted them. It's optional. If you prefer to just chant Hare Krishna at the end, which myself and some other kirtan leaders do, that's also welcome. Because you will have an opportunity to glorify the deities during the Prema Dwani prayers. You can chant the deities' names at that time. So this is just to make you aware, if someone doesn't chant the deities' names at the end of the kirtan, it's not a sin. You know, it's Prabhupada did that. That was Prabhupada's standard. Okay. G. Prema Dwani mantras should be recited at the end of the Arti Kirtan. Okay. Now this is something I discussed with the sannyas candidates. This is kind of interesting. I don't know if this is going to make it in, but the sannyas candidates were concerned that at the end of the artik and devotees are offering their obeisances, they don't chant any pranam mantras. They just say Jai, 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 and then they get up. But in the earlier days in ISKCON, after offering obeisances, everyone would chant pranam mantras. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamane, etc. And then their Diksha Gurus pranam mantras. Do any of the senior devotees here, you remember in the early days, everyone used to chant those pranam mantras at the end of the Kirtan? You have that experience? Aniruddha Prabhu, we used to chant them? We do, but we see actually practically it's kind of a disappearing tradition. In the morning, devotees don't know that they have to do that or should do that, and then they just get up. So in the interest of trying to continue this healthy culture of chanting Prabhupada's pranam mantras, we're discussing encouraging the Prema Dhwani chanters to also chant Srila Prabhupada's pranam mantras and try to get the congregation to chant along with them, and then also chant their personal Diksha Guru's mantra if applicable. Okay. Number 4, Mangalartik. Someone can read, please? Kripaya. Yes. Yeah, go ahead. Take a mic. Yeah, you can. Loud, loud.
A. During Mangalarti, the morning melody should be sung. B. The Shri Guru Vashtakam could be sung one line each in favor of more chanting of Hare Krishna mantra.
Okay, so this is another thing we were discussing with sannyas candidates. They were saying that people chant 2 lines each. Samsara dava nalalila loka. And then again. And it gets long, and then there's not much time for chanting of Hare Krishna. So in the interest of more chanting of Hare Krishna, they were suggesting one line each of Samsara Dava, Shri Shri Guru Vastakam. So this is something we're contemplating, you keep in mind. Okay, now we come to a more interesting part, or a very interesting part. Number 5, instruments. Can I have a volunteer to read, please? Yes, go ahead. Take a mic.
Which one?
Kripaya up mic lijiye.
What?
Mic kahan hai?
The instrument should support the chanting and never overpower its sound. Chanting should always be heard. Instrument players should learn the art of playing the instruments both loudly and powerfully and softly and sweetly. Mridanga players should aspire to play authentic beats according to parampara. They should avoid modern adaptations derived from modern dance music, etc.
Yeah, sometimes the mridanga players get carried away. They get involved in all kinds of modern things, but actually there's like a tera kita tera kita tera 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 kita tiki taki tera kita kita taki tera kita. It's a very subtle and pleasant activity. There's so much variety. Go ahead, D. Continue reading, please. You're doing
During
so nicely.
the Kirtans and the Aarti, the following instruments should be played: mridanga and kartals. Wumpas and gong may also be played.
Okay, F. Additional instruments, harmonia, etc. may be
Added after the Aarti Kirtans with the approval of the local management team.
Okay, so then after the Prema Dhwani, there's a kirtan like this time of night or in the afternoon, and someone wants to play the flute. So what to do? Take permission from the local management team. If the local management team says okay, then play your flute. Okay? If they say not today, then not today. Aniruddha Prabhu, what do you think? Will that work? Is it practical? It's after this time, maybe this time of day, or in the afternoon. No Artik is going, maybe around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, something like that. Okay, so Aniruddha would never object unless they were really bad, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Can you hand him the mic? He's speaking.
I'm a coal cartels man myself, to be honest. It's sufficient. But if we've got good... And we also had Les, who's elderly now. Les was a very good guitarist. And so, because he was good and he knew what he was doing, we'd let him play. Right? So it's a matter of taste, I think. But otherwise, you know, kartals and mridanga, they're perfectly adequate for our purposes in all cases. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Aniruddha Prabhu. I remember being in Mira Road, Bombay, for one Kirtan Mela a few years ago, and there was this terrible violin player who asked the sound system, "Give me a microphone." And he was like, and I went to see the sound person, the sound devotee, and I said, "How many plates of Mahaprasadam will I have to give you to unplug his microphone?" So different instruments are allowed with the approval of the local management, and they should be good players. Okay? G. Prabhu, can you keep reading, please?
While devotees are encouraged to practice playing musical instruments, to play them nicely for the pleasure of the deities, they are better when used than the temple room for practicing the Arti Kirtan ends with the chanting of the Prema Davani mantras.
Yeah, I don't know why that, somehow my document is getting a little messy over here. But yeah, don't practice mridangas, kartals, instruments in the temple room. Temple room is for worship. Practice somewhere else. Practicing should be done outside the temple room. Here.
At no time should the sound of the mridanga be eclipsed by other instruments. Therefore, various drums and other instruments that drown out the sound of the mridangas in the chanting are strongly discouraged.
That's maybe too strong for a guideline. I may have to soften that up a little bit. Just my personal preference there. I'll say not encouraged, okay? Yeah, as opposed to strongly. I would personally strongly discourage them, but as far as this legislation goes, we have to be a little softer for a guideline. Okay. Please read I.
Health condensations of overly loud drums are essential condensations. Condensations are some devotees develop migraines and even permanent ear damage.
Okay. So this applies especially to the one drum called djembe, and also other big drums. But when these big drums are played, they tend to overpower the sound of the mridanga. And Bhaktivedanta Thakur said, Mridanga Bhajiya Hridaya Nache. When I hear the sound of the mridanga, my heart dances. So I prefer that especially the mridanga sound should be prominent. The most important sound is the chanting. And then the mridanga should also be heard. So if we do bring in other instruments like flutes or guitars or drums other than mridangas, if they are brought in, they should not be covering the mridanga. It should just be a supportive instrument. And personally, I've seen, especially in India, ISKCON is become overrun with djembes, these big African drums, jambo, some people call them. They're very easy to play, and they're very loud, and like boom, ba boom, 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 ba boom, 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 ba boom, 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 ba boom, boom. At the same time, clack-a-tack, 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 clack-a-tack is also a strong, high sound. And when I was traveling with His Holiness Indradumna Swami Maharaj on the Polish festival tour, there was a djembe player who had to stop because he got permanent ear damage because they're so loud. So I really, and not only that, in India, we're seeing that the mridangas are disappearing, and we're just having kirtans with only these djembes. And not only that, but the cartels are disappearing because the djembe is so loud you can't hear the cartel, so people are just using wampers. So the new kirtan instruments in India are djembe and wamper. But what we want is mridanga and cartel. Bye. Bye. Hare Krishna. See you next time. See you when you're older. Hare Krishna. Tata. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Vanchikalpa. Okay.
Maharaj?
Yes, Prabhu.
I have industrial ear damage.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, it's not unusual, I think, for ISKCON devotees, to be honest. And, you know, one mridanga and a couple of kartals, or even just one mridanga and a set of kartals in this room is sufficient. Because, you know, there's a good reason why I've got ear damage. I have hearing aids, which I don't wear very often, but I'm getting to the point now where I do have to wear them because I can't make out what people are saying. And I would hazard a guess. The reason why my hearing is damaged because of the loud kirtans with wampers and, you know, what we used to call a wampa stomper. But the problem with a wampa stomper, what it does is it damages your hearing. Another reason why we have our little... This was a gift, actually. No, actually, I did buy it. Yeah, I bought it because there was concern. And from my personal experience, you know, people might wonder why I'm a bit heavy on only having one mridanga, or somebody will be foolish enough to pick up the wampers, and I'm in the kirtan, and I'll be just like, what are you doing? Because we don't need it. We don't really need it. And I know it's fun because that's what we did what I did in my 20s. But now in my 60s, you'll be wondering why I'm having to say to you, what was that? So, you know, the voice of experience, it's better to keep it simple. We can enjoy the chanting just as much, and we can avoid the damage of our hearing, which especially in this confined space is not difficult to do. That's why djembes and wampers are not needed, really. The major problem we have in this temple is the string that holds the kartals together is too short, if we have a problem.
Thank you, Aniruddha Prabhu. This is a beautiful temple room. I especially love these reflective tiles. It's like a mirrored surface. It makes the whole place look bigger. But at the same time, these mirrored tiles and the other hard surfaces, they reflect a lot of sound, especially the high frequencies, and that can cause a lot of ear damage. And sometimes, have you ever been in a kirtan and then at the end of the kirtan you hear the ringing sound in your ears? That's a sure sign that permanent ear damage has been done. I recently visited Bhaktivedanta Hospital and to have my hearing tested. And the doctor that tested my hearing, she told me that almost all the Hare Krishna devotees that come for ear testing have badly damaged ears. And she prescribed hearing aids for me also.
What did you say?
Which I'm seriously considering trying to purchase some, because yesterday I was with a group of boys, I think 9 to 14, and I was asking them for suggestions for our brainstorming session, and I was having so much difficulty hearing what they were saying. It was very problematic. So that's a sign, yeah. So number one, we should keep the volume levels of our kirtans down. In order to do that, we should use minimal instruments, especially in this particular temple room where there's not much space and a lot of reflective surfaces. And keep an eye on the decibel meter on the wall. And one very helpful suggestion is try, if you're a strong singer like I am, I can sing very loud. Can you hear me? Yes. Do I need a microphone? No. Okay, so if you can sing like that, then no need to use a microphone. And then all the other instruments, the mridanga, kartal, can also come down in volume. So try to develop your singing to the point where you don't need a microphone, and then don't use a microphone. And it's so nice to do kirtan with no microphone, because when Lord Chaitanya and Swarup Damodar and the other members of Lord Chaitanya's associates, they performed kirtan, did they use a microphone? No. So when I do kirtan without a microphone, I feel I can get more in the mood of this is what it was like when Lord Chaitanya is using a microphone. And when you have no microphone, it means also that there's no microphone stand. And suddenly you can see everyone and everyone can see you, and it's so nice to have darshan of the deities and lead kirtan without a microphone and a microphone stand in your face. So that's also a big bonus. You can go for a more authentic Gaudiya Vaishnava mood, what it was like when Lord Chaitanya and his associates were doing kirtan. So this is another way to save the ears and also increase the taste and the experience of the kirtan. Try to leave the microphone to the side. Although I leave it on because most temples now are doing online broadcasting. They're streaming. So leave the mic on so the streaming audience can hear the kirtan. Another thing I really recommend is earplugs. That I constantly carry earplugs with me, and whenever I'm entering a room where a kirtan is going on, is the first thing before I enter the house, before I enter the temple, I always put in my earplugs to try to protect my ears. And it is also my conviction that at some point we should have earplugs easily available for our congregations. So when they come in the temple, they can choose, would you like some earplugs? Yes, okay, they're for you. Some churches do this. As people come into the church, they have earplugs freely available for anyone who wants. And I feel this would be a good step. And we should do this, dadati pratigrinati, giving gifts receiving gifts, I'm planning to gift a lot of my friends earplugs. So if you're looking for a good gift to gift your friends in the Hare Krishna movement, earplugs are a good one. Also good sometimes when you're chanting japa and you want to focus, sometimes earplugs can also be helpful. So I just want to cover one more point because we're just about out of time. And I want to take a few more comments. Singing. Can we have someone to read? Okay, we have a lot of volunteers here. Anyone wants to read who has not read yet? There's a hand back there. You haven't read yet?
Can you read?
Can you see? Here, singing. Loudly, please.
Which one?
Here. In the mic and loud. I know I said no mic, but for you, you can.
Alap is a... I can't read.
You did. Alap is a classical Hindustani musical technique in which the mantra is lengthened and additional ornaments are added. This technique was not utilized in ISKCON Kirtan during Srila Prabhupada's physical presence. Alap is not generally appropriate during Arti Kirtans. Other than Arti Kirtans, it may be permitted with the approval of the local management.
Okay, so we're talking about Hare Rama, Hare Rama. You get the idea? Have you heard this kind of thing in ISKCON Kirtan sometimes? It was not there during Srila Prabhupada's time. At the same time, it's become so prominent, especially in Kirtan Melas, that I would be hesitant to say, no alap. You know, it'd be very difficult to do that. So at least we say not during the Artik Kirtans. Okay, the Artik is being offered to the deities, and we should not have it at that time. And especially not like during a Guru Puja, like Shri Guru Charana. We don't want to have that happen. So, other than Arti Kirtans, it may be permitted with the approval of the local management. And Aniruddha Prabhu, you want to take a mic and make a public statement?
No.
No. Okay.
Why? We want to chant Hare Krishna, not listen to somebody warbling. Go out and listen to a magpie or something.
Okay.
No. You know, I think we're very lucky here because we keep it pretty simple. And I think we should stick to that. Because the idea is to hear the mantra from the leader and then follow. And I don't know if you and I have discussed this, but a skilled kirtaniya, a skilled leader with a chorus or you know, with a response that is attentive to the lead of the kirtan leader can really, you know, lift themselves to the transcendental platform by that simple activity of chanting the mantra and responding. And the leaders hearing also the response of the congregants and will then respond appropriately to that. You know, in a good kirtan, certainly in any kirtans that I've experienced with, you know, senior kirtan leaders in ISKCON, like Govinda Maharaj, for example. And, you know, I've seen Govinda Maharaj with a group of devotees practically lift the roof off of a temple with their enthusiasm, but he keeps it very simple and he keeps it very focused. Have you done kirtan with Govinda Maharaj before he was Govinda Maharaj? You know, sometimes you just
I remember that.
just snatch
Yeah.
the kartals off of somebody or the wampus.
He's done that to me.
He might have done it to me too. But he did it in the mood of keeping the kirtan simple but tight, if I can use that word, where everybody was focused on what the leader was leading and the response was then appropriate. And because he's so in tune with the mood of the congregation, then he knows how to take, how the next mantra should be sung, whether there's the need to change the tune if he's singing in a multi tune, what do you call it?
Presentation.
Presentation of the mantra, right? So that's my experience. They're the best kirtans, because I've not so long ago I stopped the Gora Arti Kirtan, and I said to I had to tell everybody, here's how we do this in ISKCON. One person leads, everybody else responds. Otherwise, what we had was, I was trying to lead the kirtan, and there's another 5 people singing, right? And it's like, what's going on here? Are we going to have a leader, or are we going to have chaos, right? And if we let the leader lead, and ideally we have experienced devotees leading, and everybody's listening and then responding appropriately. Like I noticed this morning in Mangalarti, I was leading and I sang one tune and everybody else sang a completely different tune. That means they weren't listening, right? And you then don't get the benefit, because where are you? Right? We want to be focused. When we're and the interesting thing about kirtan is, this is not one person meditating, but it's all of us meditating together. Quite an interesting, we have this notion of a yogi sitting in the Himalayas by himself meditating, and that's kind of the traditional notion of a spiritualist. But in ISKCON, our yoga practice is we do it together. But it's done best when it's kept simple, not too much cacophony, right? And nice leading, stick to the tunes, and then everybody follow. Then, Vaikuntha's the limit, or actually Goloka is the place that we'll end up being in, interestingly. Rather than, it's like a Bollywood movie. No alap.
No alap.
Is the purport.
Okay, ISKCON Melbourne standard is no alap. Okay? Is that all right with everyone? It's clear?
They can't do it anyway, so that's good. There is an individual who likes to do this occasionally, but we generally don't encourage him to even come here, to be honest.
Okay, very good. So I feel this evening has been very valuable. We could share different aspects of the ISKCON standards and guidelines. Did you feel that it was helpful for you? Yeah, informative. And it's nice, Aniruddha Prabhu has given a very clear guideline that regarding this alap, that it may be permitted with the approval of local management, and here local management has said no alap. Okay, which I think is personally, I feel it's very healthy, because Srila Prabhupada's never had that in his time. And he stopped, and there's reports of him stopping kirtans where this is going on. So we just have like 1 or 2 minutes left. And as we wrap up, I'd also like to express my gratitude. I believe we should stop at 9, correct? Because there's going to be an arti.
Before, because the arti starts.
So it's time we should wrap up, huh?
Yeah.
So there's just one point. He has an urgent point to make. And also I just want to thank the congregation here of ISKCON Melbourne for having me here for this week. I'll be traveling to India tomorrow with the mercy of Krishna. Please come visit me in Pandharpur in Maharashtra, or I hope to see you in Mayapur or Vrindavan or some other place, or maybe with the mercy of Krishna, back here soon in Melbourne. So thank you very much for your association. Hare Krishna. Thank you, thank you.
Thanks for coming, Maharaj. I figured that you'd have a good time here and that the devotees would enjoy your company like I do. And yeah, let's see. We can plan for another day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Vallabha ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Bahod Bahod Dhanyavad. Hare Krishna. A few cookies are here. Yeah, I'm not carrying this.
Shri Shri Radha Vallabh ki, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Shri Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Mai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanande. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmad Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,